In this video, I'll show you how to generate a random subarray from a larger array. To get started, let's launch the Quokka's new file command. Let's make it JS. And first of all, let's set the const of fruits to the following array of strings. So I'm going to say the array consists of apple, pear, mango, kiwi, lemon, and plum. Okay, so now let's say that we want to take 3 random items from the above array and store them in a new array. How are we going to do that? So we're going to say function 3 randoms, 3 random items, and it's going to take an array and it's going to do the following with it. First of all, it's going to set a new array and set it to an empty array. Next, we're going to run a for loop and we're going to set the I to 0, I is less than 3, I plus plus. And inside of here, we're going to say new array.push. So we're pushing something into this empty array. What that something is, well, it's coming from the fruits array, but actually in this case, it's the ARR because since we're using the function, we're generalizing what array we are using in this function. So in this case, the specific function, the specific array is fruits, but this is the general argument that it's accepting. So when we invoke this, we're going to invoke it with fruits, and then it's going to run this logic inside of here. So array in this sense is sort of like the ARR variable is sort of like an alias for the future passing of the fruits array. Okay, so we are going to pick something from the ARR variable, from the ARR array, and that something is going to be a random number. We already know how to get a random number. That's going to be math.floor, and then inside of here, we're going to do math.random multiplied by fruits.length. In some other cases where we want to randomize things, we would add a +1 here, but since arrays are 0 indexed, this is completely fine. We don't have to change anything because if we do math.floor and if math.random turns to be a 0, that means that math.random multiplied with fruits length is going to be a 0, and then math.floor on a 0 is going to be a 0. And in the end, it's going to end up being array of 0, which is apple in this case. So we don't have to add a +1 here. Of course, the result of this pseudo random operation can be something else, maybe an array of 1, 2, etc. So based on that, we're going to get a pear, a mango, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this should work. And now finally, once we've pushed 3 array members here, we can just say console.log new ARR. And that's the end of our function. So now we can say 3 random items and call it with a fruits array. And indeed, we are getting our results. Now, one problem here is that we are getting twice the same members from this array. And if we want to make this unique, we're going to have to do it a different way. Specifically, we're going to have to use a technique similar to what we've used in shuffling an array, and that is we need to splice our array. So let's make another function. Oh, actually, let's just copy this one. That's going to make things easier. So after I've copied this, I'm just going to name it 3 random arrays v2, and then down here also v2. And here I'm going to change how it works. So I'm going to say in this for loop, I'm going to say let item equals to array.splice. So this time we are splicing something from the array. And that something is basically this thing right here. So we're getting a random member spliced. And once I have that, I can just now do the new Array.push, and that's going to be the item right here. Okay, so let's just also organize the code a little bit better. Okay, and that should be it, I guess. Oh yeah, med.floor, med.random fruits length, and I forgot the second argument in this splice right here, and now it's going to be working. Okay, so now I can console log new ARR, and this time I'm getting an array of 3 single member arrays, which means that I need to further improve this by flattening the array. So how I'm going to flatten it? Well, outside of the for loop, I can just say new ARR is equal to new ARR.flat. And now that it's flattened, I'm getting 3 members from the original array randomly showing in this new array. Okay, so that's it. A simple exercise. I would say also an interesting one, which is about how to generate a random subarray from a larger array.